Well, welcome everyone to Real People, Real Stories. We're so excited that you're here. My name is Dr. Barbie Phillips, and I am a chiropractic physician for people and animals. We're going to be talking about a technology tonight called Redox signaling molecules. And I was introduced to these about 5.5 years ago. It has certainly changed my life as well as my family and many of my patients. We are going to interview a guest tonight and see how it's changed things in her world. But before we do that, if you're a guest listening to this and you're new to the idea of redox molecules, we would like to take just a moment to share some information with you. So, redox signaling molecules are important for the body. All cellular functions have to have redox signaling in order to work right. So, what do? They help our cells to be healthy and they detect bad cells, they repair them, and if they can't repair them, it helps replace them so that the body can make its own new healthy cells. However, what can happen is after about the age of puberty, we start losing the ability to make these molecules that we natively make in our cells. And toxins and environmental stressors can also deplete these in our body. And then all of a sudden, we can't recover from situations like what we did when we were younger. This is a natural process of aging. In fact, by the time we're 50, we've lost 50% ability for our body to make these precious molecules. So what do we do about that? We're going to talk about a technology tonight called Redox Cell Signaling Supplement. This is the liquid form. And this is a topical gel called Renew 28. And then our most recent release is a Cia Redox Gold. And these molecules are simply a way of either drinking or rubbing on our body the molecules to replenish what's missing in our body so our body can start to function the way it was designed to. And these molecules that are in these products are very small. And so when they absorb into the body, they get across the cell wall very easily. And once that happens, they act as an on-off switch to our cells. Then you get a cascade effect to the cells around it. And over time, it helps both with resilience to stress and overall wellness. Now, I am going to insert a disclaimer here. We are not intending to diagnose, treat, or cure any medical condition. Just what we're going to hear tonight from our guest is her personal experience with these molecules. And I would like to now introduce Nelda Castillo. And we're going to ask you, Nelda, please tell us about your background and where you come from.
So first of all, I just want to thank you, Barbie, for inviting me to your Real People, Real Stories, because, that's really what it is. It's everybody. I love people's stories, and that's what you're doing this evening. And I love that part because we all have our individual story. So I'm Nelda Castillo. I live in Lubbock, Texas. I've been a registered nurse for 31 years. I'm still practicing as a nurse. And so that's where I am today. Even today, I finished up my work and got ready for this Zoom with you. So I'm really excited about this evening, Barbie.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I know that you're a busy girl. We appreciate it. So, how were you introduced to these molecules, Nelda? And how long ago? Like, what got your attention to really take a look at this?
So in May of 2018, I was working really double time as a nurse, 84 hours a week, just busy. I love to make friends. I'd met this lady. And so she was so gracious, Barbie. Oh, amazing. And I really just wanted to get to know her and I just wanted to go back and thank her because she'd been phenomenal. Our transaction had been great. And I just felt like, I was led to go and thank her. When I did that, I went back to her business, little boutique that she had, and she wasn't there. And she left a note on the door and it just basically said, "Hey, I'm going to be out a few weeks." And, when we work, we only have a couple of days off. And I was pretty much just kind of bummed out because I thought I didn't get to visit with her, but she left a number and I called her and I just said, "Lynn, is this a good time?" I said, "I came by," and she said, "Yes." She said, "I'm being discharged from the hospital. My body has shut down." She said, "I had a knee replacement." And in my mind, I was thinking, I never even suspected that she needed a knee replacement because she was working and doing everything, activities of daily living that she didn't even look like she had any issues at all. But she said, "My body has shut down. The doctors say they cannot do anything else for me. I'm in excruciating," this was her story, pain. That's what she told me. And I just thought, you know what? I know of someone that might could help you. If he can't, he can refer you out. So, so she said, okay, she went to see him. Well, Barbie, on the day that she went to see him, I just said, and one more thing I would add on that one, you know, let's imagine it's your business and somebody says, okay, you think you're going to go get a knee replacement and go in, come back out, you'll be good to go in 6 weeks. That didn't happen. I mean, that's pretty devastating. And then she said, and my sister is threatening to shut my business down. So I thought, wow, what are they going to do, her and her husband? I mean, somebody else is dictating what's going to happen. So she basically went to see the physician, and I called her on the day that she went to see the physician. I said, Lynn, what did he say? She said, well, he told me that my inflammatory markers were very elevated. Barbie, we all have inflammation, and some of us don't even know we have it until our body starts giving us those red flags and signals. So that's basically what he said. And I said, what else did he say? She said, he told me to start taking something in a blue bottle. And I said, spell it for me because I had no idea. But I knew that my friend that I had just met, her body had shut down. And being a nurse, I see so many people that take a lot of medications. And then this friend of mine, her body had shut down and she was in dire straits. I mean, her business was going to be shut down. She couldn't function anymore, her body. And I thought, not just the business, but the body. So you can do without your business. Sometimes you can work that out. But when your body shuts down, what are you going to do? So that's really how I was introduced. And what got my attention was that my friend's body had shut down. And I did not want that to happen to me because my patients, they all take a lot of meds. But that's kind of what got my attention. I thought, I don't want to be in that scenario.
Wow. So you actually started taking this more for like wellness, or did you have any health challenges at the time?
Well, at the time, I did not know I had the inflammation. Yes, I had discomfort, but I just knew I wanted to take it for preventive measures to not be in the same place as my friend had just gotten into. I thought that's not the lifestyle I want to live. And so
Okay.
that's what really got my attention. So I
Okay.
immediately, within, I'm going to say less than 24 hours, the next day, I think we talked about 4:45 that day. The next morning, I'm going to say by 9:30 or 10, I was already saying, hey, how can I get a hold of this product? Because I
Wow.
knew that I wanted to get started and prevent any serious things from happening.
That's good. So it's nice for you to mention that prevention, we don't know what, is happening inside our body at the cellular level. And if for some reason we do get the benefits of the what ifs, what is it, working on that we don't even know about? That's huge. So that's interesting that caught your attention. And you mentioned the inflammatory process. So that is one of the genetic pathways that this product works on. And inflammation can be such a cause of so many health challenges. So if we can control that one root issue, then we certainly can have healthier cells. So good points, very good points. So how much do you drink per day, Nelda, of the redox signaling molecules?
I actually, when I started, I only, we were just told drink 2 ounces in the morning, two at night. That's what we were instructed because that's what the instructions come with. But now I know more. And so I know that my body needed more. I saw results with 2 ounces in the morning and two at night. Energy, endurance, mental focus. I just wanted energy and endurance, Barbie, and I received that. But oh my goodness, I didn't know it was going to do so much more. So that's powerful. So yes, now I drink 8, but there are days that if I'm doing more, if I'm traveling, I do not hesitate to drink extra because if it's going to be a longer day or more to do, more hours, Mondays are my busiest days. I'm on 4 Zooms today, 5. So, it takes a lot, but I never worry because I like pulsing it. I don't just drink it in the morning and at night because let's say it stays in your body 3.5 to 4 hours. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to work extra today. So at noon, I may drink 4 more ounces. And then like tonight, I drank 4 ounces a while ago just because I wanted to, not that my body needed it. I just love to be vibrant and this keeps my cells. I always say when I drink it in the morning, Barbie, I really feel that my cells are connecting. They really do. When you first wake up, when you really think about it, it's a slow process. Everything's going in your brain. But as soon as I drink these molecules, all the dots are connecting in my brain And I love that. So that's what I would recommend to people. Notice what happens before you take it and then right after you take it. How do you feel? And it just propels your day from there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I appreciate that you don't want to sit on the sidelines and just wait and see what happens to your body over time, that you're being proactive. And that's something that we do want to get that message across to people is be proactive
Yeah, I
with
cut
your
it
health
wrong
care.
again.
If we are,
Hmm.
um, not being proactive, other people can't be responsible for our health care. And so we want to encourage people to definitely take those steps, learn about what you can do to be healthier and make those good decisions. So that's great. So, any experiences, Nelda, with the newly released Redox Gold?
Wow. Absolutely, absolutely. So I honestly, I do a lot of workshops here in Lubbock and we do lifting and this and that. Well, I had a lot of overuse with this arm and I didn't realize that I had a discomfort. But at night, my husband would say, are you uncomfortable? Do you have any discomfort? So when you're asleep, I would roll over it and it would hurt. And so I was always applying the Renew 28 and that would help, that would ease it. But I would ask my doctor, I thought, why doesn't it go away? He said, wait till the Redox Gold gets here. So the day that Redox Gold arrived, I was so excited. So he assessed it and he said, we have an injury, it's overuse. And so we applied the gold. Oh my goodness, guys, just a raspberry amount on the first application on my arm. We just, basically, I just say apply a blueberry amount, well, really raspberry amount all over this arm on the bicep. In 1 minute, I received great results. It was amazing.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, I still remember that moment. It was great because, you think, when is it going to quit? So
Right.
it relieved that discomfort. It took the edge off. That's what I would say. It
Mhm.
took the edge off. And then I thought, okay, that's great. That's great. I loved it. But it's not only relief, it's given me recovery where I don't have any issues. And that's amazing. Oh,
Wow.
I just love it. I love it. But I use it. I mean, ladies, I don't know whoever's on this call tonight. If you work out, oh, I love this before and after workout because you will not have any soreness. Apply it before and after. And if you do, that relieves it. So that's been my godsend along with my Renew 28. I use both. I'm just a product of the product, but the gold, dynamite, dynamite. It's like a sledgehammer taking care of the discomfort that you have. But remember, it's relief and recovery, and it's been amazing to me.
That's wonderful. So you're holding up your Renew 28. What do you use that for?
Well, funny that you should ask. I had a guy this morning. He had a lot of Redox reward points, and he said, "Just order me Renew 28. I love it." But then this morning he said, "Hey, can I trade this for some of the gold because I love the gold because he's been using that?" I said, "Well, really can't do that." But I said, "If you have a lot, what are you using it on?" And he said, "Well, just my face."
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh my gosh. He said, where do you use it? I said, everywhere, every nook and cranny, everywhere, but never in my eyes. I said, after I shower, first of all, it's part of my skincare. And you know what? I love my complexion, but it's because of these products. So I said, everywhere, everywhere, because it gives you flexibility, core strength, flexibility, and balance. Of course, if you're going to go work out, you want to use it. Even if you're not working out, you're going to work out at home, and this gives me flexibility. So I tell people I put it everywhere. Start on my face, my neck. Of course, I'm going to put it here because it gives you increased blood flow for 92 hours. Oh my goodness. That's exciting in itself, but age reversal, life changing. So I love that part, but there's not any place I don't apply it except in my eyes. That's the only place. And I will say, ladies, everywhere you can think of, apply it. Just try it. So my friend said, okay, then I'll use it liberally. And so he was really excited this morning. So that's what I do. But I do not leave home without these, Barbie. I cannot. So yeah, my little friends.
And that's one thing that, I didn't know until I got started later with the products is all the products that we're talking about, they don't really have sensitivity to heat or cold. So you can take them anywhere that you want. I've got, a lot of youth that were in track meets recently. So we sent all the products out in the sun, it's like hot, cold, doesn't matter. Take it with you, use it. A lot of people are like, oh, we didn't know we could do that. Yes, just keep it with you, use it.
I have one more tip on this one. So I think this is so amazing. I tell people before you clean house, just put it on your legs, your hips, all your joints. But you don't have to use a whole lot. But I was going to tell you, so I went through the airport a couple of weeks ago in Austin. I think they have high-powered machines there, the scanners where I went through. And I'm someone that they usually pull out and they'll say, okay, we need to pat you down. And I'm like, why am I always selected? Why? But anyway, I get used to it. Well, when I was going through the Austin airport, I had been using the gold, but I've been using the Renew 28, guys. So these are high energy molecules. And for me, that was even a greater conviction proof. When I went through the scanner, the lady said, we're going to have to pat you down. And I had been applying it all weekend because I had been going up and down the stairs over at UT. There was a big ball game, so you had to climb up and down the stairs. And so I was using extra because it's like I'm just not going to worry about these steps because who knows how many you're going to have to climb. Well, guess what? The scanner picked up these high energy molecules, Barbie.
Oh my
It's so
goodness.
funny. So I saw two scans. A lady kind of pointed to those two scans, and it was my whole body scan times two, and it had a targeted area where I had been applying those molecules.
Oh
I
my goodness.
was a little embarrassed, but I thought, I wonder why that happened. And later I thought, I know exactly why it happened. But that's pretty amazing that
Yes.
what we have, is in your body when you apply it, because then because the proof is right there. I only wish I'd have taken that picture, but I will do it again just to try to get that picture.
There you go.
I'm gonna tell you that. Yeah,
Maybe you'll have an opportunity to try that out again soon.
that's right.
Oh, all right. Well, would you speak a little bit about the business opportunity? I know, Nelda, that there's so many people out there looking for possibly a second stream of income or even a first stream of income, and how they can use the products, maybe get the products paid for, or maybe even make a business out of it. Speak a little bit about that.
I would say that's what's happened to me, and I'm so excited about that because I had no idea when I started taking the product. I really just wanted it energy, endurance, mental focus. I did not realize that I was really signing up for a business opportunity because I just wanted, I was thinking about me and preventive and didn't want to be like my patients, going that through that lifestyle. But what happened was, it's just really a beautiful story what happens when you share it and you care about others. Yeah, that's what happened. I shared with a lady, and then she said, oh my gosh, we love these products. She said, whatever I do, she said, all my family does the same thing. And she said, can you come and do a workshop for my family? Well, I live in Lubbock. And I said, yes. I had no idea how to even do a workshop, guys. I had no idea what was going to happen, but I said yes. And then she said, okay. She said, I said, where does your family live? Well, she said, Hereford, Texas. Well, that's about 2 hours from here at least.
Oh, wow.
Please, but that's okay. Because when I went and did the workshop, a couple of my friends that I had met on the morning call, I called my friend up and I said, Houston, we got a problem. Well, I don't know how to do a workshop, but guess what happened? So I shared with one lady that I really didn't know at the grocery store. And then she had 30 people at that workshop. Oh, I couldn't believe it. 30 people. My friends came, we did a workshop. We had Leland, we had Dr. Maureen Hayes, we had Dr. Dalton, we had several people there, but the people in the room were so excited. Nearly every one of them joined that evening. And then she said, oh, and I need to have another one. Same thing, another 30 people at her home. So that's really what started, but that's what started creating a business that I had no idea. But what has happened, I'll fast forward from there. So people, you share because you love and you care for people. You're authentic, and that's what's really helped me tremendously. I'm glad I can see people as they are, love on them, help them wherever they are, and then those people are sharing with others. So for me, honestly, I've worked a lot of years, a lot of hours as a nurse, and they were grueling, grueling hours, a lot of hours. But I have a lot more time flexibility. I get to choose when I work, how long I want to work. I don't have to work like I used to all those hours because I have an extra stream of income. But guess what? this is not only a passion, it's become my calling. And
Mm,
when you find your calling, that's what happened. And I believe that's what's going to happen to most people. When you find your calling, you love what you do. And you just share with people whatever they do is okay. You just don't get attached to the outcome. But that's what has happened. More time freedom, but I would say a more vibrant, energetic lifestyle, because Redox is a lifestyle. And that's what I have and my family has. And that to me, Barbie, is priceless, priceless. And yes, my products are paid for. I love, Redox reward points. We get free products. We can all do that. So yes, we can. Anyone can do this if your mindset is set in that fashion.
mhm.
And to me, that's what we do. We're consistent mindset will get you anything you want.
That's wonderful. And you mentioned the Redox rewards. So there are different ways to participate. So if someone doesn't want to have a business, you can be a product user, and they have retail prices or the monthly subscription where you can get rewarded and get that to use towards free products, or you can build a business just like myself or Nelda, which is really great that there's opportunities for whatever direction someone wants to go. The big thing is just get the products and be able to have an experience. Then another thing I might mention, Nelda, is that the company does give a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if someone for some reason is not happy with the products, they have nothing to lose, everything to gain, great health to gain. And maybe on that note, could you mention just a little bit about the company and its leadership?
Yes,
Why the
ma'am.
company is different?
Yes, yes. I would just say to me, the product, the opportunity, the company, I mean, the monumental size of the company, 34, 35 countries now, but even beyond that, because that in itself is huge. But I was thinking earlier about the leadership, the Fortune 50, the strategists that we are blessed to work with. I mean, they share their knowledge. I mean, we go to our events, our conventions. I have never, ever experienced this type of leadership. People that know your name, they care about you, they care about your family. I mean, the relationships that have developed, the personal development that they help us achieve, and you become the person that you're supposed to become. And, they really do pour into us. And I can't say enough about that. I just love it. When you see the vision, you capture it, then you know you're where you belong. And that's where we belong, Barbie. We are where we belong. Everyone on this call, if you're already an associate, just know that you are where you're supposed to be. Just give it your best, because you're going to become your best, the best version of you. And I'm still developing, Barbie, and
Mm.
so are you. But when you see that in other people, that's pretty amazing that ASEA, does that, allows us to become if we want to.
That's really great. That's really great. Well, Nelda, I would like to take a few minutes to open it up to our guests to see if there's any questions for tonight. So if you happen to have a question for Nelda, you're welcome to unmute yourself, and you can go ahead and turn your camera on if you'd like and ask Miss Nelda a question. I'm sure she would be happy to answer it.
Don't be shy.
Right?
Well, and I would just say if someone is ready to, you're like, I don't know, I'm not sure. I would just say, suspend disbelief. Just go for it. I just did it. And I'm so glad I did it, because a lot of times our little mindset goes, oh, I don't know about this. Guess what? Try it. What would it look like tomorrow if you haven't tried it? What would it look like tomorrow if you had energy, endurance, mental focus, flexibility? I mean, that for starters.
Such a great point. Yeah. So if you're on the fence, then, gosh, give it a go. So, Marita, do you have a question for Nelda?
Nelda, if you would happen to have a friend that has knee challenges and they're trying to avoid surgery, what suggestions would you give?
Well, absolutely. I always say foundational first. I love, love, love the foundation, because without the foundation, things don't happen. The foundation is your number one choice to start with. And then I would absolutely say I would use the Redox Gold also. And then I would highly recommend the Radiance. That's where I would begin. And I think Barbie would agree. You need, decrease the inflammation. You need the blood flow. You need to we need the body needs to create its own collagen that's absorbed. And then you need the Redox Gold for relief and recovery. So those four absolutely must have to begin with, and be consistent. That's what I would say about that.
Great question.
Thank you.
Any other questions from our guests? Got a shy group? All right. Nelda, do you have any closing comments for our guests?
I would say redox signaling molecules is foundational. We cannot live 3 seconds without these molecules. I wouldn't be the vibrant, joyful, energetic person that I am for my family, for me, for our community, for what I do every day as a nurse. I'm just saying they have impacted my life so much that I cannot go one day without these molecules because they're that phenomenal for me. My personal testimonial, I honestly wouldn't be on this Zoom tonight if these molecules did not do what they do. They honestly do go in and detect any damaged cells that we have no idea are there. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Most of the time we don't. But just knowing that they detect, protect, repair, and replace, that is huge, huge, huge. So, and then the other thing I would say is, if you haven't seen Dr. DeBrincot's video on Redox Matters, oh my goodness, guys, what this does for him, I mean, it actually, his body shuts down. So our body does shut down when we don't have the molecules, some worse than others. So I don't want to go through that. But I would say this, the 5 people that you surround yourself with, and then sometimes it's our family, most of the time it is. But you know what? I would teach them how valuable these are, because when we cannot make those decisions for ourselves, I tell my family, if they don't value this, we're not going to have that. They need to value them and know what these products can do. Barbie, that's what I would say. Because remember, if you all of us know how valuable these are if you're already on them, but if your family doesn't, we're in trouble. So teach your family how important they are to you. And like I had a conversation with my son this morning. I said, they do this every day, but I want them to dive a little deeper because we cannot function without these molecules. And like Barbie said at the beginning, may we never know what they're doing for us and protecting us from, Barbie.
Great words, Nelda. Well, thank you so much. You definitely were enlightening today, and I appreciate all your information and being here. I know you've had a busy day. We would like to let our viewers know that this is recorded and it can be found on our Creation Chiropractic YouTube channel sometime after mid-morning tomorrow. Our next Zoom call, where we will interview another guest that's had experience with redox signaling molecules, will be June 9th. We'll have a little break for the Memorial holiday, and then we'll be back in June on the 9th, Monday at 6:30 p.m. Central. And we look forward to seeing everyone there. Come back, enjoy our call, and bring some guests with you next time. So until then, have a wonderful week and God bless.
Thank you, Barbie.